friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm coming at you with a reading vlog, and this one has a little bit of a theme, and I'm going to be reading books that fit the Evermore vibe. And Evermore is Taylor Swift's 9th studio album, and this was actually an idea that my friends came up with. So we all wanted to do a collab because Taylor Swift's re-recorded version of Red is coming out this month in November. So by the time this is up, it should be going up on the day that Red comes out. So basically the collab is with my closest friends, and each one of us is going to be focusing on a separate Taylor Swift album and kind of reading books that match the vibe of the album, or if it's like the color red, like reading books that are only red, or like song titles, stuff like that. So this collab is with my good friends Jan from Jan Agaton, and she's going to be focusing on the album Red. Cami from Borrows and Books, she is focusing on folklore. Renee from Reading with Renee, and she is doing Lover. Christina from Christina's Chapters, and she is doing Fearless, and she's actually not really a Swiftie, so she's kind of confused. She doesn't really know what's going on, but it's great, it's fine. And then Issa from Ray or Shine, and she's focusing on Reputation. And obviously I'm focusing on Evermore. So we kind of said that we wanted to read books that kind of fit the vibe of the album, or like song titles, or like really anything that we wanted to do. For me, I'm going to be doing like the vibes of the album, and I'll read you a little bit of what Taylor Swift kind of said when she released the album, and kind of where I drew like ideas for what books I should pick out. Also, we're hoping to do album cover recreations, and I'm really excited. My boyfriend actually just got me the record of Evermore, so I have like the big record. I'm excited. All I have to do really, it's like a braid and then get like a jacket that looks kind of like it, but hopefully that's in this video. Hopefully I got to do that. But yeah, like I said, Evermore is Taylor Swift's 9th studio album, and it's kind of a sister record to Folklore. And yeah, like I don't know if I mentioned that Evermore is my favorite Taylor Swift album. It kind of changed a lot. It used to be Red, then 1989, back to Red, and then when Folklore came out, it became my favorite. But then I feel like this past summer I listened to Evermore so often that Evermore like does not have a song that I skip. Like if there is one, is Dorothea. That's my least favorite from the album, but I love like every single song on this album. And yes. So Taylor says about the album Evermore, she said that it felt like they were on the edge of the folklorian woods and they had a choice to travel further into the forest. She says that she loved the escapism and that she found in these imaginary tales, and that she loved and welcomed the dreamscapes and tragedies and epic tales of love and loss and found into your lives. So for me, when I read this, I felt like the vibes for Evermore have always been very fall, obviously, so this is like the perfect time also to listen to Evermore if you haven't yet. But to me, it felt like epic fantasy, like these epic tragedies and lost and love stories and tales. So it felt historical fiction, magical realism, fantasy, those vibes. So I have two books in front of me that I'm going to be reading for this vlog. So the first one does fit the like epic love story. I believe this does have a love story in it, but it is historical fiction, and this one is The Most Beautiful Girl in Cuba by Chanel Cleeton. So basically this one is set in the 1890s, and it's about this like American journalist that gets like this big break, this emerging story that is happening in Cuba. So she goes to Cuba, and basically there's this 18-year-old girl, her name's Evangelina, and she is imprisoned during this time in Cuba. There's like the Spanish oppression and all of this. So she puts this girl's picture on the newspaper, and it starts like this huge uproar and kind of like a rallying cry to get this girl like free. And she was kind of like the face of what was happening in Cuba. So yes, so it is like revolutionary, like an epic story about freedom and It is based on real life events, so I'm really excited. It seems like a very captivating novel. It is historical fiction, so a beautiful tale. So this is one of the books that I'll be reading for this vlog. And then the next book I'm so excited to read, and I feel like this one out of any book, it's just, to me, this screams Evermore so much. So this one is Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr, and this one is historical fiction, magical realism. It's going to have an epic love story, I know it. So this one is a little hard to explain. I'm low-key about to look at the Goodreads because I'm scared to mess this up. So basically this book follows like many different POVs for one, and a huge, like a very long timeline. Like one timeline it's like in the 1400s and the other one's like 500 years later. So epic tale for sure. But basically one of the main characters, her name's Anna, and she's an orphan, and she lives with like these priests, and they like do embroidery and all of that like old-timey stuff. And she meets this man who kind of teaches her how to read like Greek and all these stories. So there's like one story at the heart of this whole book about a specific person. I think his name's like Atheon or something like that. So this story like connects all of these timelines together. But she lives inside the walls of Constantinople. I think I'm saying that correctly. But she lives like inside of those walls, and she's being taught all of these things and this story. And then there's a boy who lives outside of these walls, and he's kind of like a farmer. He has this whole story too, and they're like, and they kind of connect somehow. I don't know how yet. I'm only 100 pages in, and I feel like we're just like learning a lot about like the background of these characters, but it's so good. But those are the story, like the timelines in the old times, and then there's another timeline in the future, like 500 years later, and it's pretty much like this man trying to put on a play about the story that I mentioned earlier about that Atheon. So he's trying to like do a play, and there's something about a library and other things, and it's like a lot of different tales and timelines and characters all coming together, and I'm here for it. I'm loving it so far. So yeah, like I said, I'm only 100 pages in, but I'm really enjoying this. But yeah, I'm super excited for this little collab video with my friends. I hope that y'all enjoy this. Like I said, I did already start Cloud Cuckoo Land, so obviously that's what I'm starting with. We will be doing like a cover recreation. Not all of us, I don't imagine, but I will try to. And yeah, you'll just follow along and hear my thoughts on these two books, and I'll try to make it Swifty. Hi friends, so for the start of this Taylor Swift Evermore reading vlog, like I mentioned, I'm gonna start with Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr, and I'm about to go live on my channel. Today it's Wednesday, November 3rd, and it's 7:53. I'm going live at 8 p.m. I haven't gone live to do like live reading sprints in a while, so I'm super excited. I think last time I did it was at the beginning of October for Stabathon, so it's been over a month since I've done live reading sprints, so I'm really excited. But yeah, I'm gonna start this during the live, and I'll check in later. morning, friends. Today is Tuesday and this reading vlog is supposed to go up this weekend, and I don't know how feasible that's going to be because I am only 200 pages into Cloud Cuckoo Land, and this book is, how long is it? It's like 600, almost 700 pages long. I haven't had much time to read this physically, and like I mentioned, I only want to read this physically or listen to the audiobook and follow along, so I need to find time to actually read this physically, because I feel like if I listen to just the audiobook, I'm going to get confused and very lost very fast, because I mentioned that there's like a whole bunch of POVs in this book, a whole bunch of different timelines, and it can get a little confusing because it is kind of like historical fiction, magical realism, also a little bit of sci-fi in there, so I feel like it's just a lot. It's a very dense book, so I need to just find the time. But right now I'm actually headed out. I'm gonna go grab some coffee, and then I'm going on a little morning walk with my boyfriend, and he's going to help me recreate the Evermore album cover. That's why I'm wearing this like flannel jacket. It's not the same colors as the Evermore album, but I'm gonna try to do a little braid while we're out. I don't know how to French braid my hair. It's not happening, so I'm just gonna do a little braid, and we're going to like these parks that have like those woods and stuff, so he's gonna help me do the recreation picture for the Evermore album. And yeah, I think we're just gonna have brunch, and then I'm gonna work for the rest of the day, and I do have to be at my job physically from like 6 to 8 p.m. tonight, so hopefully tonight when I get home around 8 I'm not too tired, because last night I did attempt to read this, but I only read one chapter because I was falling asleep, because I started reading around 10 or 11. So I've just been really tired and I haven't found the time. But tonight for sure at 8 I should not be doing anything, so I should be reading this. And then the rest of the week I'm really excited because I don't start work until like noon-ish, and I love when I have the morning to myself. I love reading in the morning, so hopefully I get to do some fun things, go to some coffee shops, or maybe just read in my bed. But I'm looking forward to it. And this Friday I'm actually going live on Cammie's channel around 6:30 p.m. EST. So that's also another opportunity for me to read a lot. I'm not gonna go out on a Friday night. I've been going out like every Friday night recently, so I'm gonna stay in and read how I used to. My Friday nights, my wild Friday nights used to be just hanging out with my friends till 2 a.m. on a stream. So that's what I'm gonna do this Friday, because I miss it a lot. Good morning. Hello. So like I mentioned last time, this week I don't start work until around noon or later than that, so I've been having the mornings to myself, at least today. So I actually woke up really early, around 7 a.m. I cleaned my room, put my laundry away finally, and then I got to read a little bit of Cloud Cuckoo Land. I am finally halfway through this book, which I thought wasn't going to happen in this vlog, but yeah, that means that I have about 300 pages left of Cloud Cuckoo Land. I am really enjoying this. It's hard to explain what I like about it without spoiling anything. Like I mentioned, there's like 5 different POVs. They're all in different timelines, and there's like a whole bunch of different things happening, and they're just kind of connecting. So if that's what you're into, I would definitely like recommend this book. And like I mentioned, it's historical fiction, magical realism, all of these things. There's also a little bit of sci-fi in there, so if that's what you're into, I would recommend this. It's really hard for me to like compare this book to another book in order for you to know whether or not you like this, because it's so unique. But I'm really intrigued. I'm really liking it. I just haven't found the time to read because I've been very busy with work. But yes, I'm actually headed to the gym right now, and then after that I'm hoping to go to brunch to this little cafe called Floresa Cafe. So I'll be reading there until it's time for me to start working, and then I'll open my laptop and do my job stuff. And then really quickly, yesterday during our hike, or like morning run, not run, we did not run, trust me, our morning walk, we did the recreation for the Evermore picture. I tried my best. I can't braid my hair, the jacket didn't look the same, but I really liked how it came out. You probably already saw it on my Instagram, or I'm most likely going to be using this picture for the thumbnail. so you probably already saw it. But yeah, this is how it came out and I was proud, honestly. So I will be reading this at the coffee shop, and then I believe I'm off from work around 6:30, so I get to be home a little earlier than usual, so hopefully I'll read a little bit more of this. And I don't know what the plans or the goals are. I just want to finish this and at least start The Most Beautiful Girl in Cuba, because it's been too long that I've been reading this. And then I'm also actually headed to the library because my hold for Blood Like Magic came in, and that is Jan's book club pick for the month of November. Her discussion, I believe, in like 10 or 9 days from now, so we'll see if I get to that, but I'm really looking forward to it. Hi everyone, really quick update. Cami and I are live on her channel and we're doing live reading sprints, but the All Too Well short film by Taylor Swift, written and directed by Taylor Swift, came out, and we were watching the live, like the stream, the premiere, I guess. So we were watching that, so that's the clip that you just saw. We were watching the premiere for that. Also, during these live reading sprints, I'm still reading Cloud Cuckoo Land. I have about 100 pages left, so almost done. And I do think that once I'm done with this, that will be the end of this vlog, because this has taken too long, and unfortunately I don't think I'll get to The Most Beautiful Girl in Cuba for this vlog, because the next book that I want to read is Blood Like Magic, because I got it from the library, and Jan's live discussion is a week from now, so I definitely want to get to that book first. So yeah, that's the update. I will let you know when I'm done with this and how I feel. Hi friends. So the last clip that you watched was me and Cami watching the All Too Well short film by Taylor Swift, written and directed by Taylor Swift. We cried, we dissected it, and then on the live we talked about Taylor Swift and her dating life for like 2 hours, so I had a really great night last night. I did end up reading, I think, about 30 pages during the sprint, and then after reading sprints I did end up reading later that night, and then this morning I did read a little bit more, and I finished Cloud Cuckoo Land this morning. So obviously, as I'm filming this, yesterday was the release of the Red Taylor's version album, and I've listened to it not completely all the way through. Actually, I haven't listened to all of the new songs, like the Vault songs, because I listened to a couple of them and I wasn't liking them, and I know it's because I have this thing that every time that I listen to an album for the first time, I usually don't like it, because Evermore I didn't like as much, and Evermore now is my favorite Taylor album. So I'm just like, I've just been playing on repeat All Too Well, the 10-minute version, and just like processing that, and then when the time comes I will listen to the new songs, but the time is not yet. So like I said, I did finish Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr, and I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. Who's surprised? I knew that I was going to love this book. I love Anthony Doerr's writing. It's very, very beautiful. If you're looking for very beautiful, like flowery writing, to me it's like flowery, I would compare like the writing in this to the writing in the Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, I think it's her name. So like I've said a million times, this book is historical fiction, fantasy, magical realism. There is a little bit of sci-fi in there. It has everything, and I feel like this was the perfect book to read for this video, because it's so like Evermore, with like all the folklores and the tales and all of this like fantastic and epic stories. There is some romances in here. I think there's like 2 love stories. There's one more epic than the other in here. There is an LGBT couple, kind of. don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, I loved it. I love like really big timelines. I always say that I love like a whole bunch of POVs, and it had all of my favorite things in one book. I do think that at the beginning of the book we focused on two specific POVs, which were Anna and Omir, and that's who I was looking forward to the most. And then in the middle of the book it kind of changes, and then you get more of Anna and Omir towards the end, and it wasn't as satisfying because I was really expecting something like epic and big to happen between Anna and Omir, and things do happen, and all of these timelines are connected, so that's not really like a spoiler. But yeah, I do think that for those POVs I was expecting a lot more because they were my favorites at the beginning, and then I was like, I liked all of the POVs, but the other three, I was like, okay, I can read these and they're not bad. But I feel like more epic and great things happen to all of the other POVs rather than the ones that we started off with that were my favorite originally, and they're not anymore. So I don't know, I had a lot of favorite POVs in this. I will say probably Zeno was my favorite. Anna was my favorite at the beginning, and then it stopped being my favorite. But I think I would say Zeno is my favorite POV in this book. But yeah, it's amazing. It's wonderful. It's really hard to say what happens in this book without spoiling anything. Like I've mentioned, all of these POVs are connected by this one story, this one tale, and kind of like Anna and Omir are like, it's the oldest POV or timeline, so like the 1400s, and that's kind of like the origin of this tale and story. And then the latest is Constance, and that one's more the sci-fi-ish POV, which is many years in the future, like 500 years later, and obviously it's also connected. So yes, I don't want to say too much, but I adore this book. I do need to reread All the Light We Cannot See in order to make like to say which one's my favorite by Anthony Doerr. I haven't read any of his short stories, and I don't think I will. I like his novels more. So yeah, you can definitely tell that this took like a decade to write, which is how long I think it took. I think he started writing this after he finished All the Light We Cannot See, and I think it's been about 8 to 9 years. So yes, you can see that a lot of work was put into the story. There's a lot of research put into this, and I really loved it. I'm not surprised that it's a 5 out of 5 stars. I already knew that this was going to be a 5 out of 5. But yeah, even like the writing in this really reminded me of like Taylor Swift's kind of storytelling style in Evermore specifically, because she kind of tells these stories that are very dramatic and like just painful love stories, and I feel like you get that in here too. But yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. I love this book, and I did want to read The Most Beautiful Girl in Cuba for this vlog, but currently it's like the 12th or 13th, so it's like 2 weeks into November, and this is the first book that I finished in November. It was a pretty long book, but I do want to get to other things first, because Jan's book club pick discussion is next Friday, which is a week from now, a little bit less than a week because today's Sunday. So I need to pick that up, so sadly I have to end this vlog here. But yeah, this was so much fun. Definitely please go watch Issa's video, Jan's video, Christina's, Cammie's, Renee's. I don't think they're all up right now, but they will be. And yeah, go subscribe to them and show them love. And this was so much fun. Yesterday was like the best day ever. Like, it was Taylor Day, like all over social media, and like talking to my friends about Taylor Swift. It was so much fun. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye.